Look at this skills directory. There are thousands of skills here. Each one is basically a little package of human knowledge, workflows, best practices, and hard-won lessons from people who have already figured out how to do a specific job well. And yet, most of us still out there typing the same prompt into AI over and over again, like it's a daily ritual. For example, help me write a short-form video script, start with a hook, add a twist, and end with the engagement. Or help me test this website, open this page, click the button, take a screenshot, and check if there are any errors. If you've typed the same prompt 3 times, fine. If you've typed it 30 times, that's no longer prompting. That's a workflow crying for help. And that's exactly where skills come in. You can install a skill that already exists, or if your workflow is weirdly specific, congratulations, you may need to build your own. So first, let's understand what a skill actually is. We'll open one from the top of the leaderboard. This one is called Find Skills. And the funny thing is, this skill helps you find other skills. So yes, it's basically the skill words recommendation engine. On this page, you can see installation instructions, but the important part is this. Every skill has a core file called skill.md. It explains when the AI should use this skill and what steps it should follow. For example, first understand what the user needs, then check the skill leaderboard, and so on and so forth. And what is a skill really? It's not magic, it's instructions. More specifically, it's a reusable set of instructions that tells AI agent how to handle a certain kind of task. When the user describes a need in normal language, the AI can load the relevant skill and follow the workflow inside. In this case, the workflow is help the user find the right skill. If you want to see what that looks like in GitHub, we can open the repository behind it. Now, if you see a wall of folders and suddenly want to close the tab, I understand. Very normal reaction, but we don't need to inspect everything. We're going straight into the Find Skill folder, and inside that folder, there it is, Skill.md. Open it and you'll see the same core ideas again. The heart of the skill is not a mysterious AI brain, it's a structured document. Of course, bigger skills can include more than one file. They might include reference docs, scripts, templates, images, or other assets. I'll put that structure on screen so you can pause if you want to look more closely, but the smallest possible skill can be very simple. It can be just one file. Imagine a meeting follow-up skill. The most important part is the description. Codex reads that description first and decides whether the user's request should trigger the skill. So if the user says, help him turn the meeting notes into a follow-up message, Codex can recognize that this matches the meeting follow-up skill. Then it loads that skill and follows the steps inside. Once you see this, skills stop feeling mysterious. They are basically reusable workflows for AI agents. Now let's talk about how to install one. There are 2 ways. The first way is manual installation. It's not glamorous, but it works. Using Codex as an example, skills usually live in this folder. Manual installations means you copy the entire skill folder into that directory. That's the install. Simple, but very I still manage files by hand energy. The easier way is to let Codex do it for you. You can simply say, install the playwright skill for me. Or if you already have the GitHub URL, paste it into Codex and say, install this skill. That's usually all you need. In my testing, the whole thing often takes about 1 minute. Once the skill is installed, you can test it directly in the chat box. Type $, then start typing the name of the skill. For example, let's try Find Skills skill we just looked at. After a few letters, it should appear in the list. Press Enter to select it, then type your request and Codex will use that skill to do the task. Now, how do you see which skills are already installed? The quick way is to type $sign in the chat box and scroll through the list. You'll see the skills available to you. Another way is to open plugins, then go to the skills section. There, you can see your installed skill. You can also see whether they are personal skills or system skills. You can open each skill and read what it does. For example, here is an AI music creation skill. You can read the description, click Try Now, and it will jump you back into the chat box. Then you can type the kind of song you want to create, and the skill will help you with that. Next, let's talk about creating your own skill. Honestly, you don't always need to. Before building one from scratch, search first. There is a good chance someone has already made a solid version of what you need. Use that if it works. But sometimes your work really is specific. Maybe it's specific to your job, maybe it's specific to your team, maybe it's one of those why do we do it this way company rituals that nobody fully understands, but everyone has accepted. That is when a customer skill makes sense. The rule is simple. If you do the same process again and again, and you can write it as a repeatable checklist, it is a good candidate for skill. In Codex, Cloud Code, or another AI coding tool, you can describe two things. First, when should the skill be used? That is a trigger. Second, what should the AI do step by step? That's a workflow. You can write this in plain language. For example, use this skill when the user wants to turn meeting notes into a follow-up message. Then summarize the meeting, list action items, separate decisions from open questions, and draft a message the user can send. That is already enough for a basic skill. If you want to make it more advanced, you can add extra folders, references can hold background documents, scripts can hold executable scripts, assets can hold templates, images, fonts, and other reusable files. But don't overcomplicate it at the beginning. Start with the smallest useful version. Then test it. Use $sign to call the skill. Give it a real task. If the output is not good enough, revise the skill and test again. A good skill is not born perfect. It gets edited into shape. Finally, if you build a skill and think other people might find it useful, you can share it. The most common way to put it in a GitHub repository. You can even ask Codex to help. Please push this skill I created to GitHub. As long as your GitHub account is connected, Codex can help you package and publish it. So here's the takeaway. The value of a skill is that it turns a good workflow into something AI can repeat. Instead of explaining the same process again and again, you save the process once and reuse it whenever you need it. You can use these skills built by other people. You can create skills for your own work. And if you have a workflow that other people would benefit from, you can share it. That's real power here. You are not just prompting AI. You are building a small library of a repeatable expertise. So now I'm curious, what skill do you use the most and what skills do you wish existed? Tell me in the comments.